Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships for our Friday edition video. This Saturday, I'm actually going to feature the USS Helena, an American tech tree light cruiser. Apologies for no video on Wednesday. I had an armored warfare video in mind, but I have worked so much this week, and it was just impossible, so that video will be coming next week. But today, I have a really good randoms battle for you, as I'm just trying to see if this Acosta is alive or not. Not trying to purposely drop him or cause harm to him. Just wanting to have a destroyer move out in front of us, because as a light cruiser, we're a bit vulnerable. Now, in this match, as we're here on, I don't know how to pronounce this map, if it's a Seychelles, something like that. We are top tier, as you saw the Acosta, tier 5 tech tree destroyer, and we've been spotted. Now if you do a max concealed build, it's technically 10.37 kilometers, so 10.4 just for rounding things off nicely here. And we've been spotted on that bottom right end of cap A here in the domination mode, so we know where the destroyer is at, which is very beneficial here. Now, a few things about the USS Helena as I communicate in chat with the team is that we have 5x3 152mm guns with a reload time of 8.5 seconds before you would do adrenaline rush or let's say top grade gunner, anything like that would kick in. So quite nice. I really like playing the American light cruisers. I really like going from Dallas to playing the Helena, as it's just a nice ship overall. Now, a lot of times you're going to be utilizing the islands, smokes, which we're going to be using smoke. We're going to be utilizing some island coverage, I think, here in this battle. I don't remember. But smoke we will use from a teammate destroyer, so that will be very handy for us as the Acosta comes in here to play. But with these higher shell arcs at ranges, and the shell travel time takes you quite long, you just have to be mindful in your leading and how you just position yourself overall. So no one's died yet, so that's good. The consumable assets that you have here on the Helena, you have the, of course, you have your damage control party, you have the defensive AA fire, we have a fighter, and we have hydroacoustic search, which we've used to help out our very low health destroyer there to our right. And moving up here on this enemy Podvoisky. Now I'm going to critique the Acosta here, because he's going to open up with guns, and then he decides, well, I should just launch torpedoes. Okay, I mean, at this point, if destroyer is so low, you should just keep firing with your main battery guns versus worrying about getting torpedoes off. Now, this means we are going to get the first blood kill here. Just 881 damage on him, and I think the Acosta was smoking for himself. But I still just complimented him here and said thank you. So maybe he's mindful, wants to smoke up other teammates in the future. Now, with the consumable layout, which is very helpful, it focuses more, of course, on that AA role. And then having the hydroacoustic search is, of course, helpful, as we saw some of those torpedoes fired from the Podvoisky towards our fellow teammate destroyer. Helped us make a move like that. Otherwise, maybe you're a little conscious to do a move like that. But now we have the armor piercing loaded. So the high explosive is really good, but the armor piercing is really nice if you're able to get broadside salvos, especially, as we're really hoping that this Amono decides to turn. Now, he's a very lightly armed Japanese light cruiser. So I'm sticking with it because I'm thinking maybe at one point he's going to switch, go broadside to us. New York takes some pot shots at us. Now, with being at tier 7, we can actually take a force slot. So I take the propulsion mod 1 to reduce the time taken to reach full engine speed, which honestly is very helpful. We're going to be playing around with our rudder a lot. We're actually going to get a decent amount of thick potential damage in this game as we rotate. Maybe hoping we could get that second kill, but not the case. As now we're up to 28,000 damage, and Scharnhorst has kind of pushed us out of the way of that incoming salvo. Didn't intend to block him. So with the main battery gun range that you have on this 8.5 second reload time when adrenaline rush or top grader gun are not active, you have a range of 14.56 So for 14.5, 14.6, I think is how they've what they've ended up rounding it up to here in the game. So your light cruisers tend to, at the tier 7 and under, I mean, even some tier 8s don't have the most range where they're getting out past 15 kilometers. So with having that 10.4 concealment and a 14.6 gun range, if you're out in the open, which you're going to see us doing so here in a bit, you really want to try to play further away where you have more time to use your rudder, you have more time to use your prop mod on the 4th slot, to avoid incoming fire, and just constantly playing with your throttle. Now, I'm looking at the mini map here. I've decided I want to reposition. I'll go ahead and get closer to this island. We have control of 2 of the 4 caps and about to cap the 3rd one here at A. And we have, looking at the mini map, we have 3 battleships and 2 destroyers here. So effectively, more than half, because we've lost 2 teammates, are here on the side of the map. And the middle is wide open, so I'm a little concerned that there'll be maybe a sub, maybe a destroyer or 2 that try to sneak up the mid. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and reposition over there. Now, in the process, I moved a little closer to this island just to help me get up a little bit further, with maybe staying detected, staying dark if some ship was going to pop out here. Now, we have been detected, and that kind of tells me I think he's just beneath the B near, I think, where one ship has died in that Bravo cap. Now I'm going to be looking over to the right because there's also been an enemy ship there in CH4. It has been detected for a while, as we do pick up a cruiser here. And because we've seen him, we are going to keep shooting anyhow. So we've taken out the Pan-Asian Tier 6, the Ramat. I think that's how you say that one, perhaps. As he is quite low on health. We popped the Hydra right. We're pushing into perhaps a destroyer cruiser. Submarine. No torpedoes yet, but the cap is still being flipped. So that means that there is still another enemy ship on it. So I'm hoping to get on the cap in time, maybe before it gets flipped. So we'll have to see here. Still paying attention. Now I see that there has been a ship that has been since detected down at FG 67 line. So again, I'm wanting to be mindful of that. Don't have to worry about playing a lot with the rudder shift right now. No one's detecting us right, and not to worry about playing with the throttle. So, whether you're playing with smoke, you're playing with caps, now the cap's not being detected, so perhaps he's run outside the cap, or maybe it's a sub, not entirely sure. And it is a sub, so we've picked them up there on Hydro. Now we do get plane-based ASW here, which I'm really thankful for Helena. I think it would be a lot more frustrating to play the Helena if it was ship-based ASW. And now we have an issue. King George V is moving in as we get cause flooding, and we're going to be waiting for King George to get a salvo off here, and he has. And I should have already kind of begun that turn a bit sooner to go left, because in these type of situations you don't want to close the distance with enemy battleships. It's better if you can keep it at range versus getting too close. So I'm going to be maybe showing some too much side here as we pick up the sub again on our Hydro. But we're going to focus this destroyer because this Farragut has decided he wants to pick a fight with us here, which is unwise. So we do get a direct hit and another flooding on the enemy sub as we get a nice little salvo there and finishing out the Farragut. And we're going to see something like that, perhaps that sub's still running away, and open up on King George as we pick up the Confederate. And also King George V has used his damage control party. So what you tend to want to do, just like we did there, we didn't take any damage, we just lost our engine, is that, we cut the throttle and we turned out. That's really what you want to do with these light American cruisers. When you are open gun boating per se, you don't have any island, you don't have any smoke. And I'm really the only threat, or I guess perhaps reasonable target for the King George to go for, as he's pretty full health. And having the destroyer killed helps us also to be able to perhaps look at going dark here, which is what I'm going to try to do, because I think we forced that sub to just want to stay under for a little bit. So I want to see if we do go dark here, and we do. And it'd be better in this scenario to open up some more distance for the King George V. So we don't worry about using our DCP just because our engine's busted. If we are on fire and engine's busted, then perhaps, as we lose our Hatsuharu and Aoba. But what I really want to do here is I want to play further away at range where it gives me more time in the light cruiser to be able to possibly evade incoming salvos from the enemy battleship. Or even a cruiser, as we're going to have a cruiser to deal with here shortly too. But we do have a fire that had been ticking on the King George V, putting us up 72,000 damage now with the 3 destroyed, as our friendly sub takes out Charles 43. Now we wait for King George to fire off his 3 turrets, and as soon as he does, then we open up again. And it looks like he's debating of turning back in, so if he's going to turn back in, I'm going to turn out. So we don't have IFHE on this build. This is on the EU server. This is the when I'm playing in the Gnome clan. But King George has decided to DCP again. And now the sub is back on the cap, and I ping roughly where I believe he is. And because we're further away at range, we avoid that first 2 turret salvo, but then we do take a minor hit there. And now it's time to focus on the sub. I want to help my battleship that's pushing back in, which he's going to have something, let me put it this way, limited commentary to add, and I'm not really sure why he ends up getting upset as the game goes on. But we want to open up range for King George. He's opened up some distance as well. Maybe he's getting tired of being set on fire by us, and that's fine. Now we've gone dark. And now what we want to do is we want to push in to help our battleship teammate, which he still has full health here in the October Revolution, almost full health, which is great. But we want to get closer, right? We want to be able to get closer with our ASW airstrike. The range of that is 6 kilometers. Then you have to have a minimum half-kilometer distance in using it. And as you see, it's a pretty small square. It's not really big. And I don't even use it on the mini-map just as a reference point, because usually I only like using the Hydro Conceal in main battery firing range here. But the subsurfaces, again, we say focus fire, but our salvo is going to finish him off here, and then, again, keeping that cap from being flipped. Now, notice this engagement, we start off with less than 10,000 health, and that Dutch cruiser has 24,000 health. Now I think our October Revolution is going to help us out here. But again, we're playing with our throttle, we're playing with our rudder. We're going to make life difficult because that King George V is about 16 kilometers away, which is favorable for us. So I want to keep the distance even farther away from him while allowing this cruiser to push into us. Now he's pushing into us, so I don't have to stop. I can just pick up the speed again. And we're going to do what we can to focus him. Now the cruiser, in the meantime, has decided to take a liking to me, which is fine. Now the King George V opens another salvo, sets us on fire. We're going to go ahead and use the DCP. We're going to keep using the DCP every time we get set on fire in this situation because our health pool is so limited. Now this cruiser does another favor for us here, and the fact that he decides to fire armor piercing at us at range, which means we're likely to get some bounces. Maybe we take a little bit of damage here and there. Again, we keep looking over our shoulder. We lose some AA guns there. Our engine's knocked out again. And there's no need to... Our DCP's on cooldown, but again, there's no need to even use the DCP just because the engine's down. We have Last Stand, which gives us maneuverability, gives us engine speed, despite... it being at a penalized rate. We're not dead in the water. That's the big thing that why I really like taking Last Stand here on the cruiser build, especially light American cruisers. So I'm hoping maybe we get a crack in here, as like maybe that salvo will do it. If not, I'll send another salvo, and we only get 1 pin there as October Revolution gets his salvo off and he gets the kill. Now in the meantime, the cap is being flipped. So we have an enemy destroyer who's here in Bravo, which is going to make life very difficult for us, especially as the King George V pushes back in. Now apparently he got tired of shooting at me, so he decides to shoot the October Revolution instead. Now on the other hand, this is a now 4v3. We have the points lead right now, and 2 cap versus 2 cap. So if the battle stays as is, we will win the game. And I say to this October Revolution, let's just get back, let's kite. It's better for us to do that in this situation, as King George V can just burn both of us out, and if the King George is lucky, I'm 1 salvo away from being dead. Now the good thing here is that I'm not detected, so it tells me that perhaps this the last enemy shore. I think as an Akatsuki, I don't remember right now. He's not spotting us. So that's good because we want to open up the distance, especially as the King George V outranges us, right? And this King George, oh sorry, the October Revolution starts going off in chats, and he doesn't have a very large vocabulary in terms of what he's saying. So you're just going to see how that elopes over time. So not really sure why he's upset, as I think at some point I asked him about it, and all I do is get idiots out of him. So I don't know if he was upset with our play. I did do what I can to come back in there, help him out with the cruiser, help him out with the sub, but I mean, it's World of Warships. It is what it is. So I'm still being mindful, looking over here, see if the Akatsuki is going to push us or not. I'd like to get closer to this island, get closer up to the October Revolution. October Revolution is just going to be opening some shots back and forth here with the King George. I'm not sure if his concealment, how good it is. I don't think I picked the ship up yet, or maybe I just did for the coal. But if King George gets lucky with some of his salvos, he could just burn out the October Revolution. But at further range, King George has a hard time landing the salvo, so he just gets some car washes in. Now, here's the big key for us here. Enemy team started capping Area C. So that tells me that the Akatsuki is not pursuing us, which he's thinking. I think he's a little more conscious of the caps. But there's only 3 minutes left in the game. Is it worth it? Is it not? Would have been better for the Akatsuki to just keep pursuing us. Maybe detect like me. Hard to say. He had 2 good options, and he just chose not to pursue myself in the October Revolution. Here's another cool tip. October Revolution. King George V is outside of our main battery firing range as we pick up the high caliber, but he's pushing into us. So that means I can, they used to have a term for this because you could do it with like Omaha back in the day, like stealth fire. You could spot an enemy ship yourself, shoot them, and because your gun caliber is so low, the enemy like battleship couldn't see what was shooting at them. But we're not getting the bonus of lock-on, so our salvos are pretty widespread to an extent in terms of the dispersion. But as the King George V pushes in, we can just simply be roughly aiming where we believe he's going to be and fire without the bonus of the lock-on. In the meantime, our Scharnhorst 43 takes out the New York, so give him a wells done, because now that means they can just simply circle back to one of the caps. But that puts us at a really good points advantage, being at 945. Now, if our October Revolution goes down, then of course that's going to flip the points a little bit. But we have a really sizable points lead, over 300 points. So pretty fine here. The question becomes, where's the Akatsuki going to go from here? Is he going to go after the 2 teammates down on the 8 line? Or is he going to come towards alphas? So taking that in mind, shortly we're going to pop the hydroacoustic search just in case. Never hurts to be overly cautious sometimes in World Warships. Not always, but sometimes. So as we get further down here, we're actually going to begin to try to use the corner of these islands so that we can achieve lock-on and getting some more accurate salvos here on the King George V as we keep ripping him of his AA and ticking up to 117,000 damage now. But I realized a little too late that if October Revolution goes down, which he does, we will instantly lose spotting. Now, again, 4,300 hit points. It's not really worth us trying to farm more damage at the risk of us getting killed. As I see torpedoes out on our Scharnhorst 43, so I'm like, okay, cool, he's focused on them. So, should be fine. So, I don't know if the October Revolution is just unhappy about kiting. Maybe so, but it was really the best call in this situation just to pull the King George's V's attention on us. And just give the play was to buy time for the team, and we were fine. There was no need to be more aggro and push in, and myself and the October Revolution both getting killed, right? We can just simply disengage, and disengage we did, even if the October Revolution didn't like that. But I really like Helena. She's a very good ship. I mean, even this battle took place, I think, maybe the beginning of this year in January, so I think she's still good, but we had favorable matchmaking, of course, in being top tier. And then I'm quite fond of American light cruisers, so adding the skill into that gives us a pretty good game. So 117,000 damage. We get the Confederate First Blood in high caliber. 4 were destroyed. We got 11 set on fires. I don't take IFHE on Helena. If I have a higher point commander, maybe would actually look at doing that. We can talk about that in upgrade commander build video for tomorrow. Top of the team with 2,100 base XP. The October Revolution player, he gets second on our team. Akatsuki was doing a lot on enemy team. He gets to the top. And King George mixed it out there as well. Going to the detailed report, we did fires. We did 36,000 damage, 1,000 with the flooding from the ASW. You can see we did 52,000 damage in total to the King George V, and taking almost 29,000 damage ourselves, and having some good fair amount of modules damage. One of the things that King George V does really well with her HE is incapacitating AA on ships. So thankfully this wasn't a match where we had CVs, but you know, you have some AA combat capability. If we were going up against a tier 6 aircraft carrier, a tier 8 would have been a little bit of a different story. But this video is long enough as is. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you do not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Take care.